Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and of course, joining me on a Monday, the incredible expert that we have. What do we call you? The guru of basketball, the czar of football, the expert in MMA, maestro of MMA. Let's call you all that. Yeah, thanks for bringing all that expertise in on another Monday, wrapping up a great weekend of sports.
Yeah,
Tracy
yeah.
and Cameron.
Yes, well, thanks for having me once again. And yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about. Like a lot to talk about. Like there was so much that happened, especially in that UFC where I was a roller coaster of emotions. Let me tell you that. I was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, the UFC, with two belts on the line, it's always great. Those are cards that you really look forward to. A Johnny Bones Jones week, the greatest of all time in mixed martial arts, proved it again that he's just even off a 3-year layoff, moving up in weight, facing a way bigger guy, just still the greatest of all time. Can't wait to break that down with you. We're going to talk about the UFC. We're going to talk about some great basketball that happened on this weekend. Amazing basketball. It was a super fun weekend. There was big signings in the NFL today. Did you hear the Seattle Seahawks threw $105 million at Geno Smith for a 3-year deal?
Oh, really? First off, I actually, you know what? I'm quite happy for Geno Smith. Been a journeyman forever, and finally found himself a home, and well deserved,
Yeah,
of getting the
no,
money.
I'm super happy for the guy. Going into last year, nobody expected anything for him. A 10-year career where he hadn't really amounted to much, and given a chance with Pete Carroll and the Seahawks, and he was leading the whole NFL all year in completion percentage, and was able to take the Seahawks to places nobody thought he could, and he's rewarded a $105 million deal. That's so great. And I actually have confidence in the Seahawks doing something again.
So do I. Actually, you know what? Maybe I don't know what the odds would be if I think I would put a bet down in Vegas that Geno Smith will once again have a better year than Russell Wilson. I wonder. I don't know what those odds would be, but I think I would take that bet.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'm sure you can pretty much bet on anything in sports now. Let's see if we can find that and each place some money on it. It'll be fun to watch it all year long. I'm sure there's a bet out there that we could do. So let's look for it. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that would be great because nobody would have thought that this past year that Geno Smith would have a better year than Russell Wilson, and he absolutely did.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Yeah, Russell Wilson was definitely one of the worst, and Gino had a absolutely phenomenal year, great numbers, and it was a revelation. Also, Derek Carr has signed with the New Orleans Saints, 4-year deal, 150 million, 100 million guaranteed. He reunites with Coach Dennis Allen there. Allen was there in Oakland when they originally drafted Derek Carr. So that's great for Carr, and he lands somewhere. New Orleans has some things to figure out on offense, but might be a really good move for both parties.
I think so. When I first heard about that, the signing and stuff, I was like, yeah, that I think that could work, and especially with he's got a number one receiver now in Olave. Did I even say his name right? But the spectacular rookie from last year and stuff. So I think that's a good signing for the Saints. I think that's a good starting point for them. They got a lot of other things they got to work out, but I think that's a good starting point.
Yeah, well, they still got Alvin Kamara, who's very solid. Michael Thomas, not sure. He's been injury prone the last couple of years. To see what happens with him, but hopefully, I think it's good. They've been deciding between Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston. Winston's been pretty injury prone the last couple seasons. Looks like he's probably going to get cut. They're They're on the hook for a $12.8 million salary for him. So I think he's probably going to get released. And Andy Dalton, who started 14 games last year, will be the backup there, who's very capable backup and will be good. So I guess the other NFL news I might as well mention while we're talking about NFL, Calvin Ridley getting off his suspension for gambling, has been allowed to be reinstated by the NFL and missed about a year, a little more than a year. Do you remember when we talked about it? $1,500 in bets cost him $10 million in salary and a year off as well. So hopefully he's learned his lesson and can come in and contribute.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be betting on any sports for the near future, as long as he's still playing football. Yeah, I think he learned his lesson. I think he learned the fact that placing like a 1,500 bet is not worth $10 million. That's first off, that's bad math, right?
Yeah.
And secondly, it was very detrimental to his career. So I think he's learned his lesson.
Yeah, let's hope. Yeah. It's franchise tag day tomorrow, last day that teams can do that. We'll see what teams decide who they place the franchise tag on. Cowboys have said that they will place the franchise tag on Tony Pollard. He's going to make $10 million this year. They're still trying to negotiate a long-term contract and extension for him. Pay him probably a lot more than that, but they wanted to make sure he wasn't going to be going anywhere. Looks like Ezekiel Elliott will be released. They'll be able to save quite a bit of money on their salary cap with him. There'll be a lot of dead money, but it does open up and free up some money. And I think Zeke's going to have to go somewhere else.
Well, first off, that makes sense. You're getting diminishing returns from Zeke anyways. And Tony Pollard is your back of the future. So, yeah, that's just smart business on the Cowboys' part.
Yeah. And the other big news today was that Kansas City has decided they will release their defensive end Pro Bowler Frank Clark. Pretty big loss there. He has been super solid, but numbers game, money-wise, team that has won the Super Bowl and, has had a lot of success, keeps losing depth and Pro Bowlers and top guys, be a very, very hard guy to replace.
Yeah, that's going to be – I don't think he's actually going to be able to be replaced. You're not going to get that production anymore. But that's what happens when you win. Sometimes it's just not enough money in the pot. And then that guy does deserve to get paid. He's definitely going to get paid by somebody.
Switching to basketball briefly, the Raptors are up 97-91 over the Denver Nuggets, the West leading Denver Nuggets. The Raptors are playing great tonight. Very solid game. I've been very impressed with them, the way they're handling Denver, who's just one of the juggernauts this year.
Yeah, Denver has been an absolute juggernaut. They've been the leader of the West for quite some time now. And I still can't believe this, but it looks like the MVP of this year, I think it's going to Jokic. It's going to the Joker, man. And if it does go to the Joker, that's his third MVP in a row. And that is very rarefied air to get to that point.
Hasn't happened since the mid '80s with Larry Bird, and that's incredible. All the amazing players that have won MVPs, and this would be incredible for him. He just got his 100th triple double, second fastest ever to reach that mark, and he looks like he's averaging a triple double for the season. Only third player in NBA history to be able to do that with the big O Oscar Robertson and the Russell Westbrook. Just incredible numbers, incredible leader. Denver, like we said last week, has to go far in the playoffs to, really justify this. But over the last 3 seasons, by far and away, he's been the best player.
Yeah, he's been utterly fantastic. Like his passing wizardry is just something to behold. It really is. And just the fact that obviously the offense is centered around him as it should be because he's like literally that good. And also too, now that he has his running mates back, Kevin Porter Jr. is back from his significant injury from last year. His back looks like it's good to go. And then Jamal Murray is playing up to his standards again. So yeah,
Yeah,
the team's looking great.
I like this team, throughout. Also, Aaron Gordon's playing, fantastic, really contributing. I love Brown. Reggie Jackson was a big pickup. I think Thomas Bryant, will get some time, soon after picking him up in a trade. I think he'll be contributing quite well soon. But Raptors tonight, spreading the ball around, spreading the scoring around. There's 6 players in double figure scoring. Leading the way is Freddie VanVleet with 19 points, 12 assists. But they got Trent has 13, OG and Pirtle have 12, Siakam has 15, and Scotty Barnes has 10. So really, really spreading it out well. And giving Denver all sorts of trouble. I didn't think this game would be very close.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the Raptors, though. They have an insane amount of length when they're on the defensive end, and that's hard for teams to deal with, especially when the Raptors are on, and the fact that you have multiple guys that can attack you at all times in the scoring aspect. So when the Raptors are really on, they're a very hard team to deal with.
They're holding Jokic in check pretty good tonight. He's only got 11 points. He has 9 rebounds and 5 assists. So pretty impressive performance. They might actually not allow him to get a triple double. Leading the way scoring for Denver, Murray has 18, Michael Porter has 16, and Gordon and Jokic both have 11. Reggie Jackson both 10. So, but anyway, good to see. Raptors are trying to reach 500 if they can win this one. First time they've been at 500 since 13-13 early in the season. So it's been a struggle trying to get back to that 500 mark all year. They are sitting a little bit comfortably in 9th place in the conference, ready for that play-in game, but there's still opportunity for them to rise up a little bit and try to get into a bit better play-in position or even farther up. So we'll see, but great games on the weekend, man. I was pretty blown away. I can't wait to talk about the double overtime game between the Knicks and the Celtics. I can't wait to talk about the Kyrie KD game that happened. First time those guys faced each other in actually 4 years to the day, or game where they played against each other. So that was good to watch. Sixers played fantastic. Had a big win tonight and fantastic on the weekend. Milwaukee's still playing well. They did have their 16-game win streak snapped, but they got another win this weekend after that. So we'll talk about basketball after the UFC talk. We should get into talking about UFC 285 because it was massive. It was one of the most talked about UFCs. It was the most crowded bar I've seen. It just seemed to trickle down even into non-really big MMA fans. When Jon Jones is there, Valentina Shevchenko bringing in the female quotient, it just seemed to really get a lot of notoriety and hype around it, and kind of lived up to the billing.
It was a great UFC. It was a fantastic UFC. All the fights I thought were really high level, and shocking. The co-main event and the main event, the results, as far as I'm concerned, were shocking to me.
I wasn't thinking that we would hear and knew twice. I knew we were going to hear it once, but and knew twice. I really wasn't sure about Jon Jones and what we were going to see. 3-year layoff, really, has a hard time training, has a hard time delivering, when you just don't know, if he's been doing it. When you saw them standing next to each other at the face-off, you thought, Jones doesn't look very good. He's not cut. He doesn't, his body's not in amazing shape like I kind of thought it was, because he's been talking about going up to heavyweight for a long time. I thought he would put on 20 pounds of muscle and just be, 20 pounds bigger with muscle. But no, he just decided to eat a lot, throw on some weight, and kick the crap out of Cyril Gane, which really, really shocked, I think, everyone. I didn't think we would just see such a one-sided, absolute blowout.
Yeah, and the thing is, he called it. He
Yeah.
actually said, "This is a complete mismatch. Like, I don't even know why you're bothered holding this fight." And you're just like, "What are you talking about? You haven't fought in 3 years. You look like you look like you grew into your dad bought early. Like, what is happening right now?" Like, I'm looking at him and I'm like, okay, it's because like they did a comparative between him at light heavyweight where he was lean and muscular, and then like him just like looked like he's overweight. So I'm like looking at it going, so did he put on muscle or just put on weight? Like that's what it looked like to me. Like he just put on weight. All right.
Yeah,
So
you did.
so now Big Jon Jones gets in the octagon with this specimen, this athlete, that's Cyril Gane, and I'm like, this doesn't look very good, but sure, let's see what happens. And then he manhandles him. They get like he was like playing with a little brother, just throwing him around in the playground, like he was like nothing. And I'm like, I don't. What am I? What is happening? Like my brain again kind of broke because it just didn't make sense what was happening. And then within 2 minutes, the fight is over. The fight is over, and I'm like, I guess he still got it. He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
I feel when, main events end early like that is a little bit anticlimactic. You're just like, oh, damn, I really, hoped it was going to be, back and forth, knockdown, drag them out brawl. And we'd see, a long, long fight that was, epic. But this one really just actually ended up being pretty cool because you're like, holy crap, this guy is that good. There's been talk because he's been off for 3 years. Oh, greatest of all time. Maybe that's Khabib. Maybe it's this guy. Maybe it's that guy. Maybe it's others that, maybe Jon Jones had his prime, had his time, but blah, blah, blah. And, he just went in, like you say, manhandled him. In the post-fight press conference, I loved it where he's like, yeah, the guy looks like a bodybuilder I'm facing. This isn't a bodybuilding competition. This is a martial arts competition. And I knew that he couldn't hang with me, and I'm going to get beat him up. I saw some really cool things that got released over the last couple days as well. Triple C has been training with Jones, and Triple C actually called this. They have video of him saying, this is exactly how you're going to beat him. You're going to get him up against the cage, going to do this front choke, going to take him out. And you got to see it. It's amazing. He absolutely showed him exactly what to do, called it, and it was actually, perfectly initiated by Jones and got the win. It was pretty wild. I was blown away.
Now you talk about Henry Cejudo, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So I saw that Instagram and I was just like, hey, what's this? And then I'm looking at it and then he's just basically detailing you're just going to stack him up against the fence and you're just going to choke him out and it's going to be really easy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. Like in my head, I'm like, yeah, okay, that's kind of cool, but none of that's going to happen. And then he did it. Just exactly how I was shocked. I was shocked because I'm like, I know Henry Cejudo's really good. I know that. But we're talking about the GOAT here. So I'm like, I don't know if Henry Cejudo needs to tell the GOAT anything. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
I don't know if he needs to tell that dude anything. But then Jon Jones goes, well, you know what? That might work. I'll give it a shot. And then it worked.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Henry Cejudo said that Jon Jones, to him, he was the best at taking suggestions, taking training notes, and going away and coming back and just exactly demonstrating it. And he did in this case. It's something that you got to see online. It was crazy because it was posted, before the fight happened, and he did it perfectly to a T. So where do we go from here? Stipe Miocic, I think's next. Called him out. Miocic was cage side. Dana said, yeah, it makes sense. Is that even going to be a match that we think, wow, this is close. This is something that I really excited about. Stipe's getting pretty old. I don't know if he has. Does he have the weapons to take out Jones the way Jones just looked on Saturday?
No. like from what I just saw, I'm like, oh, I don't think so, man. Like I don't think anybody does. Like I honestly don't. Like he came back after 3 years and absolutely dusted the number one guy. Like he was nothing. Right. So, and I don't see any other heavyweight doing that to Cyril Gane. Nobody else is doing that to him.
No,
All right.
no,
So
even Ngannou didn't do that to Gane. He
yeah,
he
exactly.
beat him, but he didn't manhandle him like that.
No, he didn't do that. So I'm gonna say, okay, so if Jon Jones is apparently training, all he's doing is just training now, right? And he's gonna go against Stipe, and he's actually motivated. It's not looking good for Stipe. I'm sorry, man. It just that dude is a monster. And he's scary, and he just showed you once again why he's 50-0 in title fights. That's what he demonstrated.
Yeah, that's one thing that blows me away, and that's why he is the GOAT, because he had 15 title fights, 15 of them. Most of the other guys in the GOAT conversation, nowhere close to that. And he just was able to become the 8th person on the planet to hold 2 UFC belts in 2 different divisions. He just came in and looked that amazing. Is there anybody in the UFC heavyweight division that can really do anything? I don't see anybody right now when I look down the rankings, when I look at the roster. I just don't see anybody that's able to take them out.
I don't. No, I don't. Well, there was that one dude that was the champion, but I guess as Dana in his own words said, he'll never fight in the UFC ever again, ever.
Do
So
you
I'm just
believe
like,
him? Do you believe him?
well, he is petty, so kind of.
Right.
But you know what though? If Jones just keeps smashing everybody, he might be forced into a corner and be like, well, there's nobody else for him to fight anymore. Like it's like what if Jones just kind of goes through and just all of a sudden within this calendar year maybe he fights 3, maybe even 4 times. He said he wants to fight a lot, so maybe he does that. And then what if he continues to keep smashing people and he does like 5 straight and it's just super easy for him? Well, yeah. I would say you would have to consider it. You would have to consider it. So
Back in there, yeah. Do you think Jones keeps himself out of trouble? I actually think he's matured. He seemed like it post fight, and after comments he made, he has messed up so many times. He's been like off a high, off a great win, and then boom, another big problem. He has just caused himself so much grief and so many troubles. I wouldn't trust him, but do you think he's going to be able to keep himself out of trouble?
yeah, you know what? Give him 6% that he keeps himself out of trouble. Know what? No, 65% that he keeps himself out of trouble. But there's still that looming 35%, which he gives it go off the rails, just do something real ridiculous and dumb. But at least the good thing is, after that huge win, after all that vindication, nothing happened. Didn't hear anything about him. Like it sounded like maybe he just went home and went to bed. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Hopefully, yeah. It just seemed like that 3 years away, he got mature. He spent time with his fiance, his kids. He, really started realizing that, he could keep himself out of trouble and, life will be better. And let's hope, 65, that's pushing it in my opinion, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, why don't we talk about the co-main event? Valentina Shevchenko, absolute beast, probably the second greatest women's fighter of all time. really has dominated eight times. She has defended her women's flyweight belt. Really didn't see, many competitors even close to her. I said Tyler Santos, really gave her a run for her money, and could Grasso do it? I sort of doubted it. You doubted it, but Grasso didn't, and her submission victory was a shock to many people. I couldn't believe we heard Ann New and we saw a new Mexican champion. She grabbed onto Shevchenko's back, one of the fastest I've ever seen anybody take somebody's back, able to sink in a choke. And it took a long time to secure it and get the tap. But man, the place blew up where I was. I think probably all around the world. Holy cow. You see Joe Rogan and DC like, whoa, did that just happen? And yeah, it was a pretty big shocking moment.
She only had like a split second of an opportunity to do what she did.
Yeah.
And she took it. Like it was, as Joe Rogan and the guys said, it was one of the fastest back takes to transition into a rear naked choke I've ever seen in my freaking life. It literally took half a second. I'm sure if I was Shevchenko, I'd be like, what just happened? Like she all of a sudden is on my back and the choke is in, like immediately. Like it was as if that was her one opportunity to win that fight. Like that was her chance, and she capitalized on it. She absolutely nailed it. And I will admit, first, I didn't think she had a chance until I saw the beginning of the fight, and I'm like, man, Grasso looks actually really good.
She looked
And
great
she did.
that first round. Yeah, I thought she took the first round, and looked like she was going to be a hell of a match for Shevchenko. I thought Shevchenko started getting better second and third round. Probably took those 2 rounds. If that fight lasts through the fourth round, before that back take, I thought Shevchenko was winning that round as well. But that's all you need. That's the amazing thing about MMA. We've seen it a lot recently. There's been a lot of people losing their belts in the last year or so. Look at Alex Pereira. He takes the belt. We saw. I'm trying to think of the guy that beat Adesanya. Why isn't it his name?
Pereira?
No, Pereira won there, but I'm trying to. Yeah, Usman gets knocked out, just bam. We've just seen a lot of champions, just one mistake, one thing, and bam, all of a sudden that challenger, throws up the great kick, throws an amazing shot, and changes the whole thing. And they're new. They've changed their life, and it's been happening a lot lately, where some very dominant champions are getting beat.
Yeah, and it's almost like, I guess it was bound to happen, like a changing of the guard. Like with Nunes losing and regaining her belt, then Shevchenko doing it, and then Kamaru Usman being so dominant, and then losing.
Yeah, losing to Leon Edwards, Rocky Edwards. That's who I was trying to think of, and name wasn't hitting me. But yeah, like just incredible how MMA is. Nobody's really unbeatable. You just can't say it. We just talked about Jones being that way, probably, but it's just been incredible how many long-term dominant champions have been dethroned in the last few years here.
Yeah, it is incredible. And I guess we're kind of still waiting for one dude still to be dethroned. Hasn't happened yet, which is Jon Bones Jones. But other than him, everybody else, eventually gets dethroned.
That's pretty impressive. So where does Gane go from here? What does he do? He was embarrassed. It's got to be soul crushing, confidence, absolute confidence crushing, to get beat that bad. What does he do? Where do they place him so that he can sort of get that back?
Well, he's still in the top 3, top 4. All right, like that. I think that's still without question. in my mind. And maybe he does what I saw off Instagram, where Habib Nurmagomedov said, "Come to Dagestan, learn some wrestling,
Yeah.
and then we'll get you fixed up."
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. If he's gonna be the best at that, go where the best is. Go there, train.
Sure.
I would if I was him, I would
Take him
seriously.
up on it. Yeah. Take him up on it. Sure. Yeah. Because that's his Achilles heel. You know, we saw it with against Ngannou and we saw it here. You know, he's still young in his career. That's only, 11-2. You know, I don't think he got into MMA very long ago. You know, he just sort of rose up the ranks, just looked like an incredible beast and got an opportunity. But Jon Jones had so much more experience and just was able to show it. But yeah, why not go to the best place and learn the thing that you're weak at and turn it into a strength and come back and dominate.
Yeah, because like even Habib was like, hey, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna take a couple of years of hard work, but because like Gagne is already he's got the striking down. He doesn't need to work on that. He just needs to work on his weakness, which is the grappling, so that Jones can't do that to him again and manhandle him, literally manhandle. So
So we've got a few champions now, Mexican born. This is pretty incredible. I think they'll be able to sell out a huge stadium and really, really, really boost up MMA in Mexico. Boxing has always been the biggest combat sport there by far, but now you've got two champions with belts, one with an interim belt. They're putting a UFC Performance Institute there. I think this is just the really start of mixed martial arts and UFC in Mexico just going really, really far.
yeah, and I foresee, and I think this is a no brainer for me. Now that Grasso's the champion, got Moreno and Grasso, double champions in Mexico. Make it happen.
Yeah, and Yair is holding the interim belt, so
Right, and Yair, and I forgot, and
yeah,
Yair.
yeah.
Right.
So man, yeah, I think they could just blow it up. They could probably fill a soccer stadium there, I'm sure. And
Yeah.
it would be incredible. Just to really blow it up in Mexico and make it one of those sports that's rivaling boxing and take it farther. And then with the Performance Institute, I think 4 or 5 years from now, boom, we're just going to see a huge influx of Mexican fighters that really start challenging the tops.
Yeah, for sure. And like you just said, like they could fill up that stadium, and I know the UFC, they love money, they love it. So this just makes a lot of sense that they would do something of that magnitude in Mexico now, and especially now that these Mexican fighters have put themselves on the map, put Mexico on the map by winning these belts.
Yeah, they had another sellout there that was 19,471, $12.15 million gate. That's the third highest ever. And they were able to give out 50K to Grasso, Jones, and the fight that we're going to talk about next, Rachmanov and Jeff Neal, Shavkat Rachmanov. Fight of the night. You called it. You said to me this is going to be the fight of the night, and you were right. These guys went to battle. It was a heck of an amazing fight. Shavkat really used a very heavy body striking approach and broke down Jeff Neal. And then he used the choke that we see all over the world. Where do we see it, Jason? Where do we normally see this choke?
I like to call this bouncer choke. Like if you've been rowdy, you're feeling yourself a little too much, but you're acting a fool. Bouncer will come right behind you, just choke you out, just like Rachmanov did to Neal. Here, the subtle difference though is that those two are professional fighters, and if you get choked out by a bouncer, you are not a professional fighter. You're immediately going to go to sleep. All right.
Yeah.
That would be the subtle difference. But I will say this: what a heck of a fight. I'm going to give it to Rachmanov because his diversity of strikes were, I think, what made the difference in the fight. with his knees, and the fact that he continually went to the body, where Neil is a boxing heavy fighter. I think that's a detriment to him now going forward. You gotta utilize all your weapons. You gotta
Right.
utilize all your weapons, man. If you
Sure.
want to be at the best of the best, you have to utilize all your weapons. You can't just use your fists. You gotta use your knees, you gotta use your legs, and that's what Rachmanov did. And also too, he put in work to the body of Neil, which paid dividends later on in the fight. So that worked. That strategy worked.
Yeah, it was incredible strategy and a really good submission. And yeah, 17 and 0 now. Sky's the limit for this guy. He was ninth ranked going in. Fifth. Jeff Neal was fifth ranked, so he's in the top 5 in the world now. He called out Colby Covington, which was kind of a strange call out. Do you think the UFC makes that happen?
Possibly. Colby Covington actually has. There's a lot of fights for that dude, like right now. So I don't.
Everybody wants him.
Everybody wants a piece of Colby Covington. Oddly enough, he doesn't have any fights coming up, so I don't know what's going on there. But hopefully something comes about, because there is a plethora of great fights for him right now. There is so many, and I really like Rachmanov because he showed some things in this fight. He showed that even if he's up against a very tough opponent, game opponent, Jeff Neal, that can hurt him, he can still come back. Like he's not going away. You have to completely take this guy out for him to be out of the fight. And he's got a chin. He's got one heck of a chin. So
yeah, he sure does. Yeah. And nobody's ever finished Neil. That was the first time anybody had ever finished Neil. So good on him. 17 and 0, and yeah, sky's the limit. Check in on the basketball game. Denver has squeaked ahead 114-113, 49.7 seconds left. And let's see, the tipping off, who gets the ball. Yeah, down to the nitty gritty. Toronto's trying to hold off Denver, but Denver's got the ball, and yeah, we'll give you an update once it's done. But okay, the fight between Mateusz Gamrot and Jalen Turner, I actually picked Turner. There was I believe a 7-inch reach advantage for Turner. He's just so long that I thought he would be able to keep that distance with his legs and his punches, and Gamrot just wouldn't be able to get inside. This was another heck of a battle. I was very impressed with, and Gamrot ended up getting a decision win.
It was super close. I was impressed with Turner. I was impressed with how he really utilized his length to his advantage and stuff, and how he was continually getting up from the takedowns of Gamrot. But here's the thing. Gamrot didn't deviate from his strategy or his plan, which was to keep doing it. Regardless if the man keeps getting up, I will keep continually attacking with my grappling. And that's what he did, and that's ultimately what won him the fight, is the fact that he was not deterred, didn't care, he just kept coming at him.
It was impressive, and yeah, he didn't deviate from the plan, got the win. Super close fight, but Gamrot gets his hand raised. The first fight on the main card was a middleweight battle between Bo Nickel and Jamie Pickett. Bo Nickel has been receiving huge amounts of press because of his performances on the Dana White Contender Series. Had to fight a couple times, get a couple wins there, because he hasn't got much fights under his belt before he joined the Contender Series. He had a very, very, very decorated wrestling career, and decided he was going to become a pro MMA fighter. And this was a super great performance from a guy making his UFC debut.
Oh, yeah. It was, especially to the fanfare that he was coming out to. Like it was a big deal. Like your first UFC fight is on a pay-per-view, and you're on the main card on top of everything else. So a lot of pressure, obviously, but the fact that he came out and just literally pitched this like a shutout, like it was, Pickett didn't really stand a chance. He really didn't. Like he took him out, quickly and showed that his wrestling is top notch, like upper level grappling that he actually has, that he's brought to the UFC. So, uh, impressive win, gets the arm triangle victory, and yeah, I expect big things from Bo Nickel going forward.
Yeah, he looked so good on the ground and just wow, it was amazing. I thought he would have a lot of trouble with Pickett, and yeah, just to take him out in that fashion in the first round, very good. And I'm sure we'll see him soon. He said he wants to fight a ton. He wants to fight, every few months. So I'm sure the UFC will grant him that. And he's been getting a lot of media attention. UFC loves that, bringing in a new guy. Yeah, I think it'll be a no-brainer for Dana and everybody involved. So, Cody Garbrandt was supposed to be on the main card against Julio Arce. That fight was unfortunately canceled, but Cody was able to get a replacement fighter, Trevin Jones, and loved seeing Cody back. I loved his footwork. I loved his confidence. He just really outclassed Trevin Jones and really seemed to reignite the old Cody Garbrandt we saw when he was the champion, when he was fighting in his prime. And good to see a guy like that make a comeback.
Yeah, it was fantastic to see, and his speed, his footwork, the counters, and just his striking accuracy was that was his. That's him at championship level.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't appreciate, and also the fact that he kind of let Jones back into the fight for the third round. He completely let his foot off the gas.
Let off the gas, yeah, right, yeah.
And that wasn't. I don't think that's something that he should be doing anymore. Yeah. I think that's a detriment to him. I think that's it gives the other fighter confidence where he clearly didn't have any. Yeah. So, you know what? I think it's always better for any fighter to keep fighting the way that you're fighting throughout the entirety of the fight, because that's what has been winning you the fight. So why deviate?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're right about that. Looks like Denver has taken the victory. Raptors were close. I don't have official final score for you in front of me, but I think it was 118, 113 or something like that. So yeah, unfortunately, Raptors gave them a great run for their money, but Denver's far and away the best team in the West and has really demonstrated an incredible ability to win close games like that. So guess I shouldn't be surprised. Okay, the fight between Dricus Du Plessis and Derek Brunson. Brunson had a great first round. Really thought he came out well. Caught a kick, took him down, got the takedown, was controlling him from side control. Really was able to get a lot of pressure on him. I liked Brunson in that first round. Dricus came out in that second round and at one point hurt Brunson and then just started putting it on him. I heard from some people that said, what the hell? Like, that fight should have been stopped way before. I don't agree. I think Brunson was still fine and in it. I was actually really shocked when his corner threw in the towel with 1 second left in the round. Herb Dean jumped in and he wasn't planning on stopping it. It was just the end of the round and they were going to get up and fight again. I was really very, very strangely surprised because it doesn't happen in MMA much anymore. We see it in boxing, but we don't see corners throw their towel in. And I didn't think it was even warranted. I think he was taking a few shots. He took the last shot he took. It was like he thought the round was already over and just sort of took him off. But what was your opinion of it?
Well, okay, this is my opinion. It was a little bit different from yours, which is clearly his cornermen, like, they care about their fighter. That's why they threw the towel. and also, too, I'm sorry, man. I know that Brunson relaxed, right? Right at the end. And it was like,
yeah. I don't know why he did. I don't know why he relaxed like that. That was kind of weird, but
that left that he took, I thought devastated him. I'm like that. It was a huge haymaker left that he completely ate. And I don't know if you saw what happened after they threw in the towel to fight. So, all right. But when he was trying to make his way to the stool, yeah, Duddy, yeah, that was actually pretty astute of them to throw in the towel. He was done,
Oh, really?
done,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
done.
I didn't. I don't think I saw that. I didn't think I saw that.
I saw that and I was like, oh yeah, no, that actually was smart because Duplessis was beginning as you saw. Like I can't remember what strike hit him. I think it was a right, whatever, a combo. He was beginning to piece him up, and
Yeah.
it was he just kept getting hit over and over, and he was staggering a little bit there. He looked like he was still in it, but at the same time, you can look like you're still in it and just have your bell rung and not know what planet you're on, right? And I thought that's probably where his quartermen that know him best were like, oh no, he's kind of getting rocked here, like a lot. It looks fine to us, but to them, they're going, they see something completely different.
Yeah,
Right?
they
And that's
might
their
have.
fight.
Yeah, I watched it again today, and I actually still hold the same opinion. I didn't think it was too lengthy of a time where he was rocked and he was in serious trouble. That last shot was, yeah, that was bad, but I think he would have, my opinion, I think he would have recovered. I think it would have been one round apiece and go on for third round, but I wasn't in there. Stefan texted me and said, I think this guy has slept with Herb Dean's girlfriend, Derek Brunson, because yeah, and I'm like, what? And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. And so Herb Dean let him get some serious punishment, but but yeah, I don't know. I watched it again today. I really implore you to watch it and see if you got the same opinion after watching it the second time, because it wasn't a sustained 5 minutes of getting beat up. It was
No,
like maybe 30 seconds to a minute at the end of the round, and I thought he was still fine. But anyway, it's a loss. Derek Brunson said that's it. He's retired. I don't know if that's gonna be it for sure. He's 39 years old, 10-year veteran UFC. I think it was his 21st appearance or something like that. Yeah, great career, done a lot. Always been in that top five for years, a long, long time. Had
yeah.
a ton of battles. Great career, but I'd be sad if he called it, if he's definitely called it a career and never coming back. You never know. Right after, a lot of guys are feeling bad. They make snap judgments and retire. But yeah, what do you think? Is that it? Is that the last time we see Derek Brunson in the octagon?
I kind of have a feeling, yeah. I honestly do because first off, I think Derek Brunson is a very smart guy, he's a smart individual, and then also too, how many fighters actually continue to keep fighting into their 40s? Not many, and there's a good reason why. Diminishing returns, head injuries, accumulation of damage. All of those things begin to add up exponentially once you get into your 40s. So I think Derek Brunson was probably, I think maybe the plan always was for him to 39, 40, that's it. Like that's it. Like that's probably all my body can handle. And then also too, thinking of that in that respect, maybe that's another reason why the corner threw in the towel, knowing that this was it. And then he may have even told his corner, if it looks like I'm taking way too much damage, it's okay. I give you the right to throw in the towel. Right? So
We'll see. That could have been the case. They might have already had a conversation that this was it, and no need to send the guy into retirement with a bad concussion, and
yeah.
getting taken off on a stretcher or something would be bad. Yeah, we're going to see what happens now with Dricus. He's been really on a great trajectory and just dominating. I'm interested in seeing him fight. I started looking at some of the possibilities, not sure who he's going to get. I think Pereira and Adesanya are going to have a rematch. Vittori and Delice are going to fight in a couple weeks. That's number 4 against number 8. Not sure where Drake is, places. But yeah, I think I look forward to definitely seeing him fight one of the top guys. He'll probably have a top 5 type top 6 guy next.
Yeah, I would imagine so because Brunson was 5 and he was 10. I don't know if that means he's just going to take number 5. Maybe he takes the 6th position or whatever, but he'll be very close to top 5, if not in the top 5, right? So I would have to say that Du Plessis definitely his next fight, top 4 or 5 guy for sure, and without a question, without question. And that's 7 in a row for him. That's impressive.
Very impressive. Yeah. That's a hard division and very, very, very impressive. Okay, let's talk about the all-female Brazilian battle. Viviana Araújo against Amanda Ribas. Flyweight fight. Went to a decision. Great back and forth battle between these two girls. Ribas ends up winning. Funny cards. But in the end, dominating all 3 rounds. It looked like she won according to the judges. What'd you think of that one?
Well, I thought that Ribas finally was able to settle down in her striking in the later rounds for sure. And also too, I thought the difference was that Ribas was putting together combinations, whereas Araujo was trying to just hammer her with like strong singular strikes, though. There's just one punch, one kick, whatever. She wasn't putting together any combinations. And Ribas was able to take advantage of the grappling, which Araujo is still very, very, very weak at. That is her Achilles heel, for sure, for certain. Second round where Ribas actually caught Araujo coming in, dropped her, and I think that right there, especially in that second round, that was the beginning of the end for Araujo.
Yeah, that was a 10-8 round. I had scored, and basically it was 3 knockdowns because she hit her, she went down, she got up, she knocked her back down, she got up and knocked her back down again. So it was, I actually scored at 3 knockdowns in succession there. 10-8. In boxing, we're talking like a 10-6 or something brutal. But it was really a tide changer right then and there. It just seemed like Ribas was able to get top control and really just grind her out from there. Viviana went for an armbar and tried to, get some control in that 3rd round, but no, Ribas got the win. She wants to take on some top people. She called out Carla Esparza, Caitlin Chukagian, called out somebody in the top 5. She's willing to go up or down in weight, she said, and take all comers. So we'll see. Pretty confident girl and lots of skill there. So we'll see. The fight that kicked off the prelim card was the Power Bar. Marc-Andre Barriault, living up to his nickname, that cardio that he can do, the pressure that he puts on. He fights Julian the Cuban Missile Crisis Marquez, who's a really tough guy, and gets the very big knockout. Once he smelled blood in the water, he just absolutely put on a barrage, absolute assault, just through and through and through and through until the ref jumped in and Mark Smith stopped it after probably like 100 punches. It was unreal, impressive performance by Barriault.
Punches, elbows, knees up against the fence, and he was just like, I'm just not going to stop until the ref finally stops it. So, and the thing that I'm impressed with Barriault is like, oh, I can do this for the entire round. And I'm sure Marquez is like, is he actually going to do this for the entire round? Yeah, actually is, man.
Yeah,
actually is. And the thing is that I was super impressed with Marquez is striking. It has come up leaps and bounds from the last time I saw him in the octagon. He looked very sharp, very good, especially in that first round. But it was almost as if Barriault was just like, yeah, man, that's pretty impressive. You're looking pretty good there, buddy. But once it comes to the second round, I'm actually going to turn up the pressure. And we'll see how you do then. He didn't do well. He didn't do well enough.
Yeah. No, he just just laid a beating on him, just threw the punches. And there's very few humans on the planet can just throw that many strikes in succession and not tire themselves out, gas out. He was actually, I thought in the post-fight interview, he's just going to be like, yeah, but he was fine. He was fine. I'm amazed that he's able to just have that great a cardio and just after throwing that many strikes. And like you say, it wasn't just punches, it was knees, it was kicks, it was elbows, it was just constant barrage. And yeah, great win for a Canadian. Nice to see. Yeah, he's had a little bit of an up and down career, but when he puts on performances like that, you think, wow, sky's the limit if he can, get into a striking war with the guy. Yeah, he's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, he's absolutely going to be hard to beat. And yeah, he just showed that for some of these guys that can use their cardio as a weapon, it's devastating. It is absolutely a devastating thing to see because Marquez was definitely in that fight until Barrio just said, yeah, I'm just going to step on the gas here and see if you could keep up. And he could not keep up. He couldn't do it.
He said pedal to the metal, and that was it. Just unleashed, and big win, big win. Early prelims. I know you didn't see them. I do want to mention Ian Gary, feature fight on the early prelims. Really good performance by the Irish fighter. He came in, got a KO right at the end of the fight. He's been able to do some very, very impressive things. He was able to come in and beat a tough guy who's been around for a long time. There was some pretty good performances on that early prelims as well. I enjoyed it. The weird thing was, I think it was the first 9 fights, all the favorites won. So no big upsets, no things that weren't expected to happen. But I loved a lot of those early prelims. Hopefully you get a chance to see them, and hope some of our viewers and listeners try to find those fights. There was a lot of good fights on that early prelim schedule.
Yeah, well, especially with Ian Gary, he's a fantastic fighter and definitely on the come up in the UFC. Somebody to definitely keep your eyes out for.
Yeah, there was some UFC debuts on the card, and yeah, I loved it. Great card all around. Love to see it. And yeah, that was UFC 285. Lots of shocking moments and lots of big moments. It was fun. We've got an early card coming up this Saturday. We've got the prelims start at 12 o'clock Pacific time, 3 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific, and 6 o'clock Eastern for the main card. We've got a really good battle between Peter Yan and Merab Dvalishvili. Peter Yan looked unbeatable before he got beat, and now he's got to make a comeback. But this is going to be a tough guy to make a comeback on. Merab is very talented, and this should be a hell of a fight.
Yeah, I think for Peter Yan, he's gonna. I think his goal is to just try to maintain distance against Dvalishvili, because I think Dvalishvili is just going to try to smother him. He's just going to try to close distance and take away his space for Peter Yan to operate. I don't think he's going to try. He's not going to give Yan any room to operate. And so that's what Yan's going to have to fight him off and to try to maintain that distance so he can get his strikes off.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I agree 100%. Co-main's got a big Russian battle heavyweight tilt between Alexander Volkov and Alexander Romanov. We get to see the Nikita Krylov Ryan Spann fight that was supposed to be headlining last week, and they were luckily able to get them on this card 2 weeks later. I'm glad that they were able to run this one back.
Yeah, I'm glad that they were able to do it and do it quickly. I thought this was going to be postponed for quite some time, but I'm glad they were able to get it on this card.
Both Nurmagomedovs are on this card. That'll be fun. Those guys are incredibly super talented and fun to watch. They're really super skilled at what they do. We get to see a lot of great fights. I look forward to Rafael Assunção and Davy Grant, Carl Williams and Lucas Borzeski. Those guys are both super tough, and that'll be good. Yeah, I mean, all the way down the card, it's going to be a lot of great battles.
Yeah, no, it's a good card. It's a really good card, especially in the prelims, like the Davy Grant, Rafael Sunsao. I think that's going to be great fight. I'm very much looking forward to seeing that one.
And we are only a couple less than 2 weeks away from Leon Edwards Kamaru Usman 3. Leon is the champ. We talked about it earlier tonight. Massive upset win over Kamaru with a late head kick that knocked him out in the 5th round. This one's in London, so in front of the home crowd for Rocky. This one is very early. We got a 2 p.m. Main card, 10 a.m. Pacific for the early prelims, and 12 p.m. Pacific for the prelims. But 2 p.m. That's going to be very early. I don't know what to see. I don't know what to say. Kamaru Usman was winning that fight up until he wasn't, up until he made one mistake and got knocked out. Does this change the tables now, though? He's been beat by the guy. Rocky's the champ. It's in front of his hometown crowd. Do we see an upset? Really, I think Usman probably goes into this fight as the favorite. What do you think we're going to see?
I think he's going into this fight as the favorite still, and I think all Kamaru Usman has to do is make sure that he finishes this fight this time, and not be distracted, and not take his foot off the gas, because we've seen him do it many times before. And then also too, for Leon Edwards' side, knowing that he has the ability to beat this man, find your other opportunity to beat him again, like to find that crack, that window of opportunity, or you create it yourself and beat him. And so I think that's what Leon Edwards is going to look for again. And I think Kamaru Usman is just going to try to meticulously finish the fight and never lose focus throughout the 25 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited about it. It seems like it's coming quick, and a lot quicker than I expected them to put this together. But yeah, nice to have another card back in England. They've been really putting on incredible performances there, and yeah, it's going to be fun. The co-main should be great. Justin Gaethje, Rafael Fiziev. Yeah, these two guys are, knock them down, drag them out fighters, and I think we'll see one of those again.
I think this is going to be fight of the night. I personally believe this will be fight of the night, because Fiziev is such a skilled striker, and Gaethje hits hard, and he doesn't mind getting hit. So I think this is going to be a knockout, drag out war. I think it's going to be fantastic to watch. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of English fighters on the card. Also, Joanne Wood is there, the Scottish fighter. As I mentioned earlier, Marvin Vettori, Roman Dolidze, number 4, number 8 in the middleweight division. I was sad to see that Daniel Rodriguez, Gunnar Nelson got canceled, but there's still going to be lots of great fights. Jack Shore is fighting on the card against Mr. Finland, Makwan Amirkhani. And then we've got lots of great fighters, lots of English fighters on the early prelims. Malcolm Gordon's there. We got Jai Herbert. Yeah, it's shaping up to be a hell of a amazing UFC 286.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great pay-per-view event.
I'm pumped. Dana White said crazy things happened on the Contender Series, or on Tough this weekend. I think he said that finally Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor really hate each other. They never did up until this weekend, it seems like. And I think he said something like, in my early days would have got in there a little bit quicker, and I didn't. And so I think they have exchanged punches, had a bit of a brawl go on with each other, and really spicing up their season and their eventual matchup coming up in the next couple months.
Well, they got to sell the fight, so that makes sense. It makes sense that they push each other, maybe punch each other a little bit, feel each other's power before they actually step into the octagon with one another. So that makes sense. It's good. It's good. Good TV.
I mentioned Henry Cejudo earlier about helping train Jon Jones for his fight. Supposedly, Cejudo and Aljamain got into a huge brawl in the backstage after the fights. I heard it's got pretty crazy back there. Did you hear any of those details?
No, I did not hear any of this stuff. All right, so I guess they wanted to spice up their matchup. Okay, that's cool. So how bad did it get?
Yeah, I think it got really bad. I think they were full on brawling and yeah, they had to be separated. It sounds like there was a lot of words exchanged and then it got physical. So it's kind of crazy.
Oh, that's good. That's good. You know what? Animosity is great. It's great because you know what? It sells, and then all of a sudden you make more money off your pay-per-view, and then everybody makes more money. Especially if you're like just on the card, just a regular fighter. You're like, oh, so those guys are really trying to sell the pay-per-view. That's good. That's good. Fight more then. Fight more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's the UFC and MMA talk done. Why don't we just finish off with a little bit of basketball? Um, I do want to mention this game I watched yesterday, New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. New York came in on an 8-game winning streak, but they came up against Boston, who's second in the Eastern Conference, having an absolutely phenomenal year. Jason Tatum getting MVP talk, him and Jaylen Brown just having an absolute incredible last couple seasons. And the Knicks ended up saying that unfortunately Jalen Brunson couldn't play. And I thought, oh, nah, I think the Knicks 8-game losing streak is over with and Boston's going to take it. And New York said, no, we're going to put Emmanuel quickly in and we're going to beat you guys in double overtime, 131-129. Quickly, 38 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Unbelievable performance, career high, and looked like he was having the time of his life. It was an awesome game to watch, awesome performance, and shocked the world. They have the longest winning streak in the NBA currently and knocked off the mighty Celtics.
And I think they have one of the best records since December 3rd, if I remember correctly, 29-14.
Yeah.
And they've been playing fantastic basketball. That is awesome that Quickly has done that because like he can be a streaky player, but going forward into the playoffs, you now have a guy that you can definitely trust behind Jalen Brunson to run your offense.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing of what the Knicks have found with Emmanuel Quickly, which is if we don't have Brunson, you know what? We're still going to be all right. We're still going to be good.
That was a big statement for him and for everyone associated with the Knicks to be able to see that you've got that depth there, and he was able to step in. 55 minutes he played yesterday. Incredible performance. RJ Barrett, the Canadian, looked great too. 29 points, 11 rebounds. Julius Randle, 31 points, 9 rebounds. And they were able to, like I say, knock off the mighty Celtics. Tatum had another incredible game, 40 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Brown had a pretty good night with 29. Horford was really good too. Missed the 3 at the end that would have had the Celtics win. He hit, I think he hit 6 threes in the game. He had 20 points, 14 rebounds. Good to see the old man still contributing for them.
No, Horford still got it, man, and it's impressive this late in his career that he's still a valuable piece to a championship team, championship roster, which is most certainly what the Celtics are. But I'm gonna have to say this: the Knicks, they're for real. They're for real, man, and they're a good team, and they're gonna make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, it looks like they're going to be playing the Cavs. It's going to be a 4-5 matchup. They might get home advantage because Cavs have been sort of off and on the last little while. I think they're 4-4 in the last 8 or something. But there was a lot of talk that New York was going to get Donovan Mitchell before he went to Cleveland. Somehow the trade didn't happen, didn't materialize. There's a lot of rumors why, but he ends up going to Cleveland, and this is going to be quite the battle. It'll be tough for Knick fans if he ends up going to Cleveland and knocking off the Knicks. But I think that'll be a heck of a series.
I honestly believe that, you know what, it's not the Knicks may have missed out on Donovan Mitchell, but they did get Jalen Brunson, who's been absolutely stellar for them this season. So
Yeah,
I can't see I don't see it where it's like that was a detriment to their organization getting Jalen Brunson. I don't see that. Right.
right,
And
right.
so I if it does end up 4-5, that's the playoff, and it's the Knicks versus the Cavs. That's gonna be great basketball to watch. I'm going to watch that series. That'll be one of those series I'm definitely going to be keeping my eyes on because that's going to just be a great matchup.
Don't want to miss it. That's for sure. Yeah. The Celtics blew a 14-point lead in that game. This weekend they lost that game up by 14. On Friday they lost to Brooklyn up by 28. That's the largest blown lead this year. Kind of bizarre that Celtics are giving up these huge leads. Something they obviously have to address. And another thing, I have a note here. Emmanuel quickly on Sunday, they were able to figure out how many miles he ran during that game. Just under 4 miles he ran. That's the most by any player in a game this season. Kind of cool that somebody's tracking that. And yeah, the young legs were super fresh, even at 55 minutes. Obviously, double overtime, you're going to get more time to run, but yeah, 4 miles he ran up and down the court in that huge impressive performance.
Well, you know what? That's what young men can do. Young men can do that. They can say they have the gas tank and the will to do that. And you know what? And that just speaks to Quickly's game. And
Yeah.
it speaks to his conditioning and everything else he's done throughout the season that he was able to step in and do that when their number one starter is out.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, that was awesome. Yeah. Okay, I mentioned it off the top. The game on Saturday. Yeah, I guess this was on Saturday. Phoenix, Dallas. The first game between Kyrie and KD since they both left Brooklyn. This was the 4-year anniversary of the last time they faced each other when Kyrie was in Boston and KD was in Golden State. And this game was fun, back and forth. What a battle. Uh, KD had 37, Booker had 36, Doncic had 34, and Kyrie had 30. Went back and forth with KD sinking the game winning bucket. Doncic had a chance right near the end, missed a small little jumper just by the hoop, and had to take a foul. A little bit of an exchange between him and Booker. They kind of got a little mad at each other. They went down, got the free throws, 130, 126. But wow, this was a fun game and kind of interesting to see those former teammates back against each other.
Yeah, it was cool. But the thing with KD that I'm always amazed at is, yeah, okay, so the guy may get injured and stuff, but when he comes back, it's like, all right, he didn't miss a beat. Like it's like nothing happened. Like it's like, yeah, I may have gotten injured, but I'm just gonna play like nothing ever happened, and I'm still KD and I'm still awesome. Like the Suns are 3-0 since he's been on the team, the squad so far. And the thing that was it was glaring in that game is the fact that the Mavericks don't have any defense. They can score with you, but they can't stop you either. And the Suns can. They can play defense. That's the difference between these two teams.
Yeah.
I believe wholeheartedly that the Suns are next up in the West, maybe right behind right behind the Denver Nuggets. Because with KD, man, the Suns are just a different animal altogether. They're just completely different. KD has made them into a competitor, into possibly winning championship. So I I applaud the owner for just for going for it and trying to get Kevin Durant and getting Kevin Durant because now they're in the mix.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that really shook up the West. Denver's running away with it. I think they got a 5.5 game lead, something like that, 6.5 game lead. Really, really dominating. And yeah, they didn't really have very many competitors until this titanic move. And now look out. Yeah, Phoenix might be even favored in a series against Denver.
Yeah, like it's like with this new duo of Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, that's deadly, man. That's as good as it get. Like mid-range assassins, you're just gonna
Yeah,
die by a million cuts by these two guys.
yeah. Oh, KD is just so lethal, just being like 7 foot, just getting to his spot and, unstoppable. He's just unstoppable. It's incredible to watch. And you're right, he hasn't missed a beat. He can be injured, having something serious, come back. Doesn't even seem like he was gone a game. It's incredible.
Yeah, I don't know how he does that. I guess that's just because he's a future Hall of Famer and one of the best to ever score the basketball. That's just what I do.
Yeah. Great to see Steph back, return from his injury. Played 32 minutes yesterday and was able to get 27 points. Lakers were able to take the win though, 113-105 over the Warriors. Anthony Davis was the biggest factor, obviously, with 39 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. And he scored 38 the day before, then got 39 yesterday in a big win for LA. Lakers are in a play-in spot at this moment as we speak, I believe. But yeah, just really good to see Steph back. Nice that he gets these games before the playoffs start.
Yeah. It's great that he's getting these games before the playoffs start. Also, too, I gotta give the Lakers some credit by winning these games that they need to win without LeBron James, without their best player, and AD stepping up. I hope he can stay healthy. Question mark. But when he's on, he's on. He's one of the best big men in the game. Period. When he's on like this, so the only question mark, and we knock on him, is can he stay on the court? And I hope for the Lakers' sake he can, because if he gets injured again, Lakers' chances are done. Done.
Big game today between the Sixers and the Pacers, 147-143 in regulation time for the Sixers. Embiid led the way with 42 points. The team shot 47% from three, 92% from the free throw line. Tyrese Halliburton did all he could do, 39 points and 16 assists in the loss, 147-143. We're just seeing crazy scores in the NBA so much now. That 176-175 game was actually the second highest scoring regular season game in history. Yes. I found out. I think my dad told me that. Actually, he Googled it and checked it out. But yeah, we're just seeing insane scores lately.
Yeah, no, we are. I don't know if that's because it's a detriment to the fact that it's defense and I don't really want to do it. I'm just not. Or sometimes it is like with the offensive scheming that these teams are doing. It's complex and they're always taking advantage. And the guys are that good now, offensively gifted, that it's hard to play defense with the rules that are in place now. I kind of think at times maybe they should bring back hand checking. To get these scores so that the defensive players are allowed to play defense to some extent, so that the offensive player doesn't always have the advantage, which it seems like we definitely do as we're going forward in the NBA.
There was a game today between the LA Clippers and the Memphis Grizzlies. Clippers won 135-129. The biggest absence is Ja Morant. He has been suspended for 2 games from the NBA, but they say this kind of is indefinite. He has had another incident. He was flashing a gun in a nightclub and got posted on Instagram or something stupid like that. They say he will be away from the team indefinitely. He has posted a statement saying, "Very sorry. I take full responsibility. I'm going to try to get help and work on learning better methods of dealing with my stress and overall well-being." And yeah, this is a blow for the team that sits second in the West and has had another great year. And a guy who's at his size really garnering a amazing amount of attention for his athleticism and the things that he's doing on the court. But another incident off the court. And I think he really needs to disassociate himself from his friends, because this is about the fourth or fifth incident off the court that Ja has had to deal with, and this could derail an incredible career.
Yeah. The good thing that I'm going to say about this whole situation with Ja, nobody's gotten hurt, right? Nobody's gotten hurt. No shots have been fired. Nothing of that magnitude has happened yet. That's why it's a good thing that all of this stuff is happening to him now, so that he can rectify all of this. All of this can be rectified because he's fortunate enough that it hasn't accelerated to a level where he's looking at jail.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that respect, very lucky.
This comes on the heels in early February. The Indiana Pacers were on their team bus, and they said that a car was following them, and all of a sudden a laser from a gun was showing up on their heads, and he was in a car that it allegedly came from. No, the police didn't get involved and they didn't prove it, but that was what precipitated their complaint, and said that they were scared that somebody was targeting them. And all of a sudden they noticed that it was Ja in the car with a bunch of sort of hoodlums or gang members or whoever the hell they were, but associates of Ja Morant.
Yeah, and again, it's these things that kept reoccurring, and then with that weirdness that he had even with Shannon Sharpe on the sidelines in the Lakers game, right? Like it kept coming up again and again and again, and then the incident with the 17-year-old boy and the gun again. So I look at the situation, and he's very fortunate that nobody's gotten hurt. He hasn't gotten hurt, or he's not hurt anybody else, and neither has his associates hurt anybody else. So with that being said, obviously, his attitude, the way he deals with things has to change, or else he puts everything that he's worked so hard to achieve goes to jeopardy. It's in jeopardy, and that's something that nobody wants to see, because I'd rather see him do spectacular things on the court than never see him play ever again. And that's the choice he needs to make for himself. I believe he's going to make the right choice. I believe his family and loved ones are going to help him get through this. And I honestly believe this time away from the team is going to be beneficial for him.
I hear you say nobody's got hurt, but that teenager you're talking about on the court, and just a pickup game they were playing, got punched in the head 12 or 13 times, from what I understand. So, and then this teenager said that during the exchange, he saw a gun in his waistband. He didn't get pulled, but it was there. So it was pretty scary for him, obviously. And then in a separate incident, a mall security guard said he was threatened by Morant and a number of his associates during a verbal confrontation that happened. And yeah, I mean, it's just way too many things are happening, and way too many incidents with guns, with fighting, with confrontations that, hopefully this is a massive wake-up call. We've seen other guys not be able to put their past in the past and get away from the bad influences that some of these guys grow up with. And, there's been guys that, just derail their entire careers and end up in prison. And, let's hope these 2 games and the leave of absence that he's taken smarten him up and we'll never hear about this again.
Hopefully that's exactly what happens, and hopefully he can come back from this and not have these repeats of this kind of behavior again.
I want to mention my weekend before. I usually mention at the start, but we just got into it. I got to go to the Rugby Sevens on the weekend, and man, is it ever a blast! It's great. They included the women this time, so they had the women and the men playing each other. 20 nations on each side. Team Canada did really well. Had a really big upset win on Friday night. The women actually had a couple of big victories, and good to see. Very well attended, 60,000 fans over the weekend there, and it was a lot of fun. People dress up in amazing, crazy costumes. You see groups of 8, 10, 12, 15 people all dressed the same, and it is an absolute blast. If and when it comes back, it's been an annual thing. Go. It's just such a fun event, and we had a blast. I went with a buddy, Rob, who I haven't seen in 4 years. He lives in Ottawa now, and he was able to come and visit, and we had an absolutely hilarious, fun time. Took so many pictures, videos, and yeah, next time it comes, get some tickets, go. It's an absolute blast.
I've heard that, and I know that from some of the pictures that you showed me. It looked like a lot of fun. Started pretty early for you, obviously on Saturday, but it looked like a blast. It looked like a lot of fun, and I've heard such.
Yeah, it was 10 a.m. I believe it started. So yeah, very early being there, and we had one of those good old drinking sessions that just lasted and lasted and lasted. Yeah, we left BC Place, walked over to the Pint, watched the UFC, got to see the entire most of the prelims and the main event, and then we walked downtown, went to Yaletown, and then the lineups were just too crazy there. Went down onto Granville Entertainment District and closed down that place. Had an absolute ball. Him and I have had a lot of great drinking sessions over our friendship, and this one was one of those ones that's near the top. Really fun time, and we just had a blast.
Of course you did, because, well, first off, your boy is in town, and it's Rugby Sevens, and on top of not just the Rugby Sevens, but then you get to see the GOAT Jon Jones come back and fight after a 3-year hiatus. So yeah, it was always going to be a monumental night of fun.
Rob's from Ireland, so Ireland was well represented. Ireland is the top number one rugby nation on the planet, has been for the last couple of years. Amazingly enough, it was always the All Blacks, the Aussies, or the South Africans. Ireland is the number one rugby nation on the planet. Not necessarily in the sevens, but regular rugby, and they came out here, and it was nice to see them represented. Lots of green in the crowd. Rob was representing them well, and he had a blast. Him and I have watched a lot of UFCs together over the years as well, so very fun to be able to catch 2 things in the same day like that.
Oh yeah, of course, and yeah, obviously, just a great night, just great events for that particular weekend last weekend.
Yeah, we when we went into Yaletown, we went by the Parlor, and I like that place. It's fun to go into. Crazy crowd there, way too many people. I went and talked to the bouncer, and you talked about the bouncer a little earlier. I said to him, "Hey, how's it going?" And I went to shake his hand, and he goes, "Oh no, shake my left hand. My right hand's broken." And I'm like, "Oh, what happened? Fight here?" And he goes, "Yeah. I think I hit an elbow last night." And he showed me his hand, and it was just ballooned up like so bad. It looked like he had broken probably the last 2 knuckles on his hand, and he was in bad shape. He he didn't have any bandage, any ice or anything, but it looked severely broken, and he was having to nurse that. Unfortunately, a fight that had happened the night before.
Yeah, that's never fun. But hey, all credit to him for just still showing up to work with just being one-handed. Good for him. Good for
Yeah,
him.
exactly. Your cousin was busy this weekend. F1 was back. First race of the season in Bahrain, and really good to see a Canadian-based team got third place, got on the podium from the oldest driver in the circuit, 41 years old, was able to take a third place. Red Bull got first and second and looked like they're super dominant again. But fun to see F1 back and see your cousin back at it.
No, well, yeah, that's his sport. He loves it, and he's very good at breaking it down and analyzing it. I recommend everybody that loves F1, please check out my cousin's YouTube. He's fantastic. I think it's Cameron Sports. Yeah, so yeah, he's great at that. And hey, F1 is back. Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, we got to get him on. I don't know if you'll be able to chat much. I follow F1 pretty close. He's an absolute guru, maestro, all the words I gave you off the top. But will you be able to contribute if we do a three-way podcast?
Probably not much. I'm gonna be honest. No, not really. I'll probably put in some like funny stuff, but like if you're looking for like analytical content, that is not going to be me. That is not going to
Yeah, I see. Yeah, yeah. I thought so. Yeah, I didn't think that was your sport. So yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll make it happen. I can't wait to do a podcast with him. He's such a gem, and he knows his stuff. He'll add a lot to this channel, and yeah, I'm sure we'll have a lot of laughs too.
No, definitely. Hey, and I'm almost gonna be done my thing here pretty quick here, so I'm gonna have some time coming up.
Nice.
So
Nice. I appreciate that. I'm considering asking the Courtside restaurant to allow us to do the podcast locally from their bar. I'm gonna see what they say. I'm gonna ask them this week. And what do you think? Would you be down for doing it at the Courtside basketball bar?
yeah, sure. That would be something else. Yeah. That'd be awesome actually. Hopefully they'll give us their uh, permission to do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ask. I'll let you know what they say. I think I'm planning on popping down there tomorrow and just mentioning what we do and what I'd love to do, and see if they can give us a little corner and just do our podcast. We'll talk predominantly NBA. Obviously, with the playoffs coming up, there'll be tons to talk about, and be able to watch some great games there as we're doing the podcast too. And I think it'll add a really neat element to it, and yeah, be able to promote them as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I look forward to that.
Cool. Cool, man. Okay, well, this was fun as always. A blast. Thanks for sharing your Monday evening. Have a great week ahead. Keep in touch, and yeah, I'll let you know what they say about doing a remote podcast.
Yeah, fingers crossed, obviously, and hopefully that all works out. And yes, we will keep in touch with all the basketball, the great basketball that's going to be going on, and looking forward to seeing the UFC early start
Yeah.
this weekend.
Is this your last week or one more
No,
week? One
I
more
still
week
have
of
one
shooting
more week.
after? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
still have one
Cool.
more week.
So yeah, you'll be free in about maybe 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So looking forward to that.
Okay, buddy. Cheers, man. Enjoy your night. We'll talk soon. Take care.
All right. Yeah. Talk soon. Enjoy.
Thanks, man. Bye for now. Okay, well, wow, that was fun. Appreciate you sticking in as always. Yeah, that was a fun podcast. Great to talk about such an awesome UFC card. A lot of good basketball. A lot of things are moving and shaking as it comes down the stretch, heading towards the playoffs. And yeah, a few other notes. Yeah, had a great weekend. Hope you did as well. I failed to mention, actually, we went for 80 for Brady yesterday. I should have told Jason that. Great movie. If you can find it, it's on its last legs, I think, in the theater. Gonna be heading away from the theater soon, but if you get a chance to see it in theater, so many laughs, such a great story, awesome cast, and we just had such a hilarious time watching it. And if you don't catch it in the theater, if you can see it on streaming options, yeah, you watch it. You'll love it. I know everybody will love it. It was just such a great story, and so funny and heartwarming, and everything about it was terrific. So anyway, love you guys lots. I want to thank you for your support as always, and I want to thank our partners and sponsors. We always love Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. They are phenomenal at posting on multiple podcast platforms for us. If you want to do a podcast, don't go anywhere else. That is the place to go. I want to thank Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. And obviously, the V350 stick is a must-have for any hockey person in your family or friends. Pampas Possibilities, designers of West Coast, beautiful, pretty things that you can have in your home, spruce it up, make it look great, impress your friends, impress your family. Yeah, get them to come in. They do an amazing job. And Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Really recommend them. I use so many of their products here, and you can purchase their products on our website at discounted rates. Really couldn't recommend them enough. So thanks again for all your support. Take care of yourself. Have a great week ahead. Love you guys lots. Bye for now.